ex-wife cheating. Kind gentleman, I'm so happy my wife cheated. Number 2, cheating. Okay, so today I was just watching the Stephanie Su podcast where she was talking about this Korean couple, Korean CEO, and she had a mistress, which was like basically that Korean CEO was dating or was in a relationship with a mistress while he was, while he is still married. And this is still an ongoing case, and the wife is not giving the divorce because she's demanding her worth. He offered her a lot of money, but she's like, no, I want 50% of this, of everything, of every asset. So now I think they're in a settlement on money basis, but not in the asset basis. If she gets what she wants, she'll be the richest woman in Korea. So this is somewhat similar, like not in the level similar, like Korean level similar, or richest woman in Korea level similar, but similar in a way, in money way, sort of, but quite opposite. I don't know, just judge it, okay? Let's get started. To the first one, to the second one. Never thought I'd be so happy to catch my ex-wife cheating. I'm not even sure if this qualifies as revenge. I think it does, but I'll let the public judge. Okay. First off, the story occurred many years ago. Let me give you a rundown of the law around divorce where we lived at the time. Both parties need to agree to divorce unless one party can prove the other party is at fault. This would mean something akin to cheating. There are also other reasons why cheating falls into it. Now, I honestly shouldn't have married my ex wife, but I was young, dumb. She was pretty, and I did what I did. So, after our first year of marriage, I came to the conclusion I wanted to end a relationship or marriage. It wasn't working out for many reasons. However, my ex wife did not want to divorce. Her life was better being married to me than without me, and I think she was trying to hold on to that. But there was no love. My ex wife set a price of $1 lakh or $100,000. I think that's how they read it. $100,000 to agree to a divorce. This does happen here, where if one party wants a divorce and the other doesn't, the party that doesn't want the divorce comes up with a cash payment, not a price, it's not price, cash payment they want, and you negotiate from there. Now, I didn't have $100,000. I could get about 25,000, and I was willing to pay that. Also, we had no kids, we didn't own anything together, etc. We spent a long time going back and forth over money and how much I'd pay her to divorce me. She finally agreed. I was thrilled. I was so happy. I decided I would go out and celebrate that night. And that night, the stars aligned. Now, to give you an idea of utterly luck I'm about to get, we lived in a city about the size of Chicago.
Stop it. Get some help.
Many millions of people, lots of places to go. My friends took me to a new bar in the part of the city. क्या पढ़ रही हूँ मैं? I had never been to before. We celebrated, we had a good time. I walked out the bar around 2:30 a.m. and it was like fucking Christmas. There was my wife. Can you guess it? Are you guessing it? Did you guess it? With another man. I had a hunch she was cheating on me and I was so happy. Oh my god, I'm so happy my wife cheated on me. Oh my god. She was heading for a taxi and I ran and got into a taxi behind her and told the cab driver to follow them. Much to my enjoyment, the taxi was clearly going to my house. Wow, I'm so happy. My wife is cheating. My wife is cheating on me. I told the taxi driver to follow the cab that my wife took, and that cab is heading towards my home. Oh my god, I don't have to pay another time for another cab to take me home. It's going to my home. Oh my god. She gets out, and I pull out the camera and I get a few pictures of kissing this man. Once I get the photos, I immediately email them to my work account to protect them, and I get out the car and I approach the two lovebirds. Oh my god, that's so sweet. This husband is so good. He's calling his cheating wife and the man she's cheating with lovebirds. I introduce myself. I thank the kind gentleman and I make one request. He is so respectful, this OP. Kind gentleman. I'm so happy my wife cheated. Oh my god, he doesn't have a worry in his life. I make one request. If they want to have sex, don't have sex in my house, but that's all. That's what he requests? That's so good. He is so nice. Everyone deserves this husband, right? I then hand her lover my business card. I thank him for all the money he saved me and tell him if he ever wants to go grab a beer, I'd be happy to buy him a few rounds. This is so unhinged. This is so unhinged. I then wish the two loved ones all the best and go upstairs and head to bed. That's what a normal person should do when he finds out his wife is cheating. He should give the business card to her lover and wish them luck. That's so sweet. Oh my god. To say my ex-wife was livid was understatement. However, the next morning she pointed out something and I have no idea how strong her argument could be in the court, but it did concern me. She said, since we already agreed to divorce, it wasn't really cheating and I would still have to pay her. Well, that afternoon, I get a phone call. It's my ex wife's boyfriend. He apologized for sleeping with my ex wife. I told him, no worries. It's completely fine, boy. Like, it's so normal. He didn't say that. He just said, no worries. He then said he'd like to talk to me. Go grab a beer, baby. Let's go, baby. Let's go, bro. We agreed to meet up, and we do. Turns out he had previously been cheated on, and apparently my ex wife lied to him about his relationship status. She said we were waiting for our divorce to be finalized, which was not true, and she didn't live with me anymore, which was also not true. He also asked me if I had sex with her in the last 6 months, and I said I did. Turns out their relationship had begun about 6 months prior and they were sexually active with each other. And she told me she wasn't having sex with anyone, especially me. Whoops. I asked him if he had any documentation of them dating, and he goes, yeah. He ended up sending me all the pictures he took of them together, some of which included him kissing her, etc. He also sent me numerous screenshots of text messages between her and him, some of which included her clearly lying about her relationship status with me. I put all of this in a folder and backed it up to numerous places to include a USB drive which I hid in my office at work in case she finds out a way to delete the data, which she never did. If she was smart enough, she would not have brought her lover boy to your place. So, how do you expect her to delete data from a USB drive? I then went to my ex wife and I had a sit down with her. I went over the mountain of evidences I had against her. Option A. Are we playing KBC now? Option A. She agreed to a non consented divorce. I will give her 30 days to move out. She gets nothing from me and I get nothing from her. Option B. I get a lawyer. I sue the living crap out of her, get a massive judgment against, still get my divorce and saddle her with the and saddle her with a ton of debt from the rest of her life, for the rest of her life.
Just to suffer.
She agreed to the non-consented divorce. That was on Saturday. That Monday, we went to the courthouse, filed for divorce. This started her 30 days. It's like, oh my god, I'll give you 30 months trial, baby girl. I shacked up with my buddy so I could be out of her way. We had a court hearing a week later. Judge made it clear we were doing a non-consented divorce. Once he stamped the divorce decree, we have to report this to the city hall and a divorce will be finalized. Us not having kids or property make it quick and easy. We both agreed, we both signed. Judge stamped the documentation. I eagerly grabbed my divorce degree and rushed to City Hall to report my divorce. And bam, bam, thank you, ma'am. I was a free man. Yeah, that's what he has written. I actually ended up becoming friends with the guy that was banging my wife, and we still talk today. Such a happy ending story. Although over COVID-19 pandemic, our relationship got distant, but not because of falling out or anything, just not talking to each other. So, congratulations on your divorce and finding a new friend. I'm so glad for you, honestly. Okay, the last one. It's about a high school bully. Bully me? Oh, no, it's not a statement. Bully me and try to sabotage my college application. Good luck getting into college. It's like the first statement I read was like, bully me. Don't. I just ran into my high school teacher and was reminded of this, so thought I'd post it here. Okay. Back when I was in high school, I got really sick at the beginning of my senior year and had to take a long leave of absence. By the time I got better, not only did I basically have to do that year all over again, but it meant all my friends had graduated. I was miserable and feeling all alone. And the worst of all, I was the stereotypical smart kid who also now happened to be older than they were. So got picked on a lot as well. They were taking a test, we were taking a test when there was an emergency and the teacher had to step outside for a few minutes. The other students were trying to get me to give them the answers to the questions when Lee, one of the more popular students, stepped in and told them to knock it off. She seemed kind and helpful, and we became fast friends. Friends fast or fast friends? She wrote fast friends, so I think that's the correct statement. I just don't know many words. Back then, college applications required sealed letter of recommendations to be mailed in by the students, and the programs I was applying to required two letter of recommendations. I decided to get three just in case. One of them was from my English teacher because although I was applying to science programs and already had been promised LORs from two of my science teachers, I wanted to show that I had broad interest. Mr. M was surprised to be asked but agreed, and he asked me to give him a 2-page essay about myself so he could flesh out the LOR. Flesh out the LOR. I'm learning new words. I appreciated that he was taking it so seriously and worked hard on that essay. However, he took so long that he only gave me the LOR literally the day before the application were to be sent out. On top of that, he left the envelope unsealed and told me to take a look before mailing. I actually ended up being really thankful to him since it wasn't all that positive, so I ended up discarding it. I think English teachers uh, are somewhat partial to students, like most of the time, not every time, but most of the time, they're very partial. It's like, even though you came to me, but you're not that favorite, or like, I'm not that inclined towards you, so I'll give you a little less grade. Not from personal experience because I did not experience this. I might have, but not in English. ठीक है. I remember this history teacher once. This history teacher. So in my life, I had two history teachers. Okay, one is like I love her so much till this day. I haven't seen her. I don't know for how long, but I love her. Okay, because of her, I got this interest in history, and I'm still interested in history. But after she left the school, this new teacher came. He was already in the school, but he did not teach that specific class. So he always picked on me because it might be because I was a teacher's student, a teacher's daughter, but I don't know. He was always like, ha, Asta, haha, you don't know, haha, haha. Like he he was asking questions in class one day, okay, and many people raised their hands, so he should ask from one of them, and I did not raise my hand, but I was not even talking. I was just listening to the class and all that, and he picked on me. He was like, Asta, answer the question. And I was like, sir, so many people have raised their hands. You can ask them, and I have not raised my hands, so I probably don't know the answer. He was like, why you don't know the answer? I was like, it's just not me. There's so many people who don't know the answer. And he was like, no, why don't you know the answer? I was like, I did not say anything. I was about to pick a fight. I'm not even kidding. Okay. He was like, you never study, Astha. I have to talk to your mother. I was like, you can go talk to her all you want. Let me call her. She's in that other building. Should I go? Because my mother knows that he picks on me a lot. And he was about to get a scolding big time. Okay. Not a scolding, but like कुछ तो मम्मी बोलती ही कि मतलब हाँ सर मेरे को तो पता ही है but whatever. Okay, he was so annoying. One day I asked him about the syllabus and he said that you stupid girl, you don't know anything. And then he said, sit down, I'm not answering that question. And I was like, okay. I sat down. It's so annoying. One other person in my class, and he or she was a topper, like sort of a topper. They asked the same question, and he answered him or her. I don't remember. Okay, and then he looked towards me and like called out my name, like Asa. I was like, yes sir. He was like, did you hear? I was like, yes sir. Did you understand? Like, no sir, I'm very stupid. I can't understand a word he said or you said. So I sat down and he was just like, and I was like, my petty revenge. It was my petty revenge, okay? And I was so satisfied after saying that. I was like, I did something. Okay, let's get back to the story. That was TMI. I didn't really think much of it since it wasn't like every teacher had to like me. However, as soon as our applications were made, Lee's attitude changed 180 degrees. At lunch, she told me no one liked me and that she had only tolerated me so I could help her get into college. Matlabi. Bullying then resumed in earnest, and she also spread several private things about myself to other students so I could be further humiliated. It took me a while when I realized she shouldn't have known about a few of those things since I never told her. Until, and that's until she realized, until I realized it was information that was in that essay I'd written for Mr. M. Can I just say something? Can I just say one thing? Like, okay, I am speaking. So, it's giving Miller's Girl. And Mr. M. Lee is a girl. Miller's Girl. I started watching Miller's Girl. I watched half of it and I was so disgusted. I was like, this looks wrong. It doesn't look wrong, like it is wrong, but it looks wrong too. And I was like, I stopped it. And my other friend, I told her about it, like, oh, I'm going to start Miller's Girl. Oh my god, let's see how it goes. And she was like, ha ha ha, tell me how it goes. I was literally sighing throughout, okay, throughout the longevity of the story of how much I have watched. And I told her, watch at your own risk. You will be disgusted because it is disgusting. But I think the story was about it, and I chose that story, but I did not think it to be bad. And the words she used, Jenna, I think, Jenna, the words she used, I had to search some of them up because it felt very, poetic. So I was like, okay. Which was when I found out from one of my friends in college that Lee was oh, uh, oh my god. That Lee was Mr. M's niece. I am so sorry for everything I said right now. so sorry. I am so sorry, okay? Miller's girl was a different story altogether. This is not it. And I did not expect it to be her to be his niece. Jail. And it became clear to me that the LR was intended to be sabotage because had I not gotten 3, I would have been screwed. My application would have been deemed incomplete and I would have had to apply next year. I was furious, but there was nothing I could do. I had no longer any classes with Mr. M and had no proof the LOR was sabotage or that he had given me access to my essay. And it was possible that Lee was the sole party responsible and Mr. M had no part in anything. So I just resigned myself to a hellish senior year and spent as much time as possible in the school library since that was the only place I got a reprieve from my tormentors. High school bullies are something else. Like they have no fear in the whole world and they just do whatever they want, thinking that, oh my god, my parents are gonna save me. I was fortunate enough to receive an early acceptance to the programs I had applied to. Lee, however, was not so lucky and good for us, I guess. Despite not being that good of a student and not having met all the prerequisites, she had still applied to the best school in the area and ended up not getting any early acceptance letter. And by the time she did receive one, it was conditional offer, contingent on her final CGPA, GPA. It's giving over smart. It's giving over smart, which then gave me the perfect means of revenge. Lee was the type to overshare information and she wasn't exactly quiet when complaining about her grades, so it was easy enough to keep tracks. By the time our final month of high school approached, I knew she was relying on Mr. T's class to pull her through. Mr. T, Mrs. T, I'm so sorry, Mrs. T was really nice and she wanted everyone to succeed. And she also knew that for a lot of senior, her class was either really important or completely unnecessary. So she always gave a final group project and a final exam that were worth significant chunk of the grade, but the students had the option of doing only one or both. If you only did one, the grade applied to both. But if you did both, whichever one was higher was a grade for both. Okay, there are two projects. Okay, there is one project and one exam. If you give only one, then that marks will be your final marks. But if you give two, whichever is the highest marks, that will be applied. Because the group project was graded before the final exam, there was time to study should you need a better grade, and she also curved the exam score as well just to give everyone the best chance. Being that I was the best student in the class and Mrs. T liked me, I asked her if I could be assigned to the same group as Lee and her friends, which she radially agreed to do. Lee and her friends crowed about their luck, assuming that they could skip it all and I would be forced to do all the work except they forgot that there was essentially no penalty for skipping this project. They were horrified when I told them the day before the project was due that I didn't do it. And Lee in particular was now in trouble since in order to attain the necessary CGPA, she had to do well on the final exam. For a week, she apologized, trying to bribe me and even begged me to go easy so the grading curve would be in her favor. I did no such thing, of course. I got some snacks from my mom's. I think I should have received it earlier. Then I could munch on it like a popcorn. But okay. I studied as hard as I'd ever done and aced it. My 100% meant there was no curve, and while Lee passed the class, it wasn't enough to boost her GPA. Word soon got around that she didn't get into college and she had to take the summer classes and an extra year to reapply. I made sure to give Mr. M a big smile when I saw him at the graduation. She got played, Lee got played, and she deserved it. Like, she is so matlabi. She's such a bitch, I am telling you. This girl got early acceptance letter, had a perfect score, and got her revenge. This is a revenge. I like it. Perfect revenge. Petty revenge, though, but still, it was worth it. Okay. I'll be making more videos, and let's see you guys on the next one. Bye. Love ya. It's giving that interview. I love ya. Love ya. Bye bye. For a week, she apologized.